Over the years, I have compiled many lists of the rarest and most endangered animals in the world, but there are 3 which I believe to be the most endangered. If someone asked me what animal I think would be the next to go extinct, I would say the Yangtze giant soft-shelled turtle. Despite its long evolutionary history, it has been in decline for 10 million years. As a member of the Raphitus genus, it is most closely related to the Euphrates soft-shelled turtle, which inhabits the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. These 2 species split from each other 20 million years ago. They are also closely related to a now extinct species, which inhabited Central Europe 17.5 million years ago, when the Earth was warmer. This long evolutionary history has led to some unique adaptations. The Yangtze softshell is distinguishable from a much deeper set head, which is retractable, allowing it to strike prey. It is also the largest freshwater turtle in the world, reaching an average length of 1 meter, with some weighing up to 230 kilograms. This size deters pretty much every predator from eating it, making it pretty much an apex predator. It also has a soft shell, hence the name, reducing its weight, and allowing it to more effectively bury in the mud at the bottom of the water. Another name which it occasionally goes by is the speckled soft-shell turtle. It gets this name from the speckled pattern on its head. This speckled head and inconspicuous shell make it appear much like a rock or piece of mud, allowing it to ambush predators. In the past, the Yangtze softshell inhabited the Yangtze River and various lakes in eastern China, as well as the Red River Basin in Yunnan, Vietnam, and Laos. Recent fossils of this species have also been found in the Pearl River system, indicating that this species had once lived throughout southern China and northern Vietnam, and also a few areas in Laos. This turtle is so endangered that there may only be 2 or 3 left in the world, 1 in a Chinese zoo, and 1 or 2 left in the wild in Vietnam. It became so rare, mostly due to being hunted at extremely high levels by people wanting to eat them. This shouldn't come as a surprise, as both regions where it inhabits are among the most densely populated places on Earth. However, I would like to deliver you some hope. In the search for Yangtze softshells when speaking to locals, the only characteristic which conservationists can provide is that they are really big. But with turtles that lay hundreds of eggs, and take a long time to reach full size, only looking for large turtles leaves a few stones unturned. Especially as larger turtles are hunted more often, both because they're easier to spot and they're more valuable. Despite that, sightings continue to suggest that it may still be found in the wild. Like all endangered species, a captive breeding program is an obvious choice, but there have been setbacks that have gotten in the way of breeding this species. Breeding took place in China, with 80 eggs being laid, but none of them ever made it, and every other time they laid eggs, they were infertile. The female of this breeding pair eventually died before giving birth to any offspring in 2019. But in 2020 another female was discovered in Dongmo Lake, until her unfortunate death in 2023. In 2015, a conservation group apparently found a Yangtze softshell in the upper Red River Basin in China, but didn't manage to capture it before it moved on. It was also found that one inhabited a pond in Laos for 45 years, but fled into a nearby river during a monsoon, never to be seen again. So yes, there are probably more individuals left in the wild, but as an elusive species, it may never be found. And extreme amounts of overfishing in these areas make it unlikely that the turtle could get far without being caught. Now that we've had a look at the largest freshwater turtle, let's take a look at the smallest marine mammal in the world, but also the most endangered. The vaquita first emerged 350,000 years ago, when porpoises moved north from southern South America during a period of cooling, resulting in both the vaquita and the harbor porpoise, with the vaquita inhabiting the shallow waters of the Sea of Cortez in Mexico, also known as the Gulf of California. Genetic analysis has shown that vaquita populations have always been small, remaining between 2 and 5,000 over the last 300 years, likely due to severe droughts 100,000 years ago, in which the water depth dropped considerably, restricting their habitat, creating a genetic bottleneck. One unique adaptation this species has is an unusually tall dorsal fin for an animal its size, which is thought to assist thermoregulation and allow heat to dissipate faster. Particularly important for the vaquita, as it is the only porpoise that lives in warm water. Its smaller size is also thought to be an important adaptation for the shallow waters of the Sea of Cortez, which allows it to more easily navigate the shallows. Vaquitas are often found alone or in pairs, often accompanied by a calf, but have been seen in groups of up to 10 individuals. A comprehensive survey in 1997 found that only 567 vaquita remained. By 2007 this had dropped to just 150, and less than 19 in 2018, and today in 2024, a minimum of between 6 and 11. This represents one of the fastest declines ever. Want to know why? In the same area where the vaquita is found, lives a large fish known as the totoaba. This fish is hunted for its swim bladder, which is considered a delicacy in Chinese cuisine. It is also eaten for its meat, which fetches high prices. As a result of this overfishing, vaquitas are caught in fishing nets in huge numbers, where they are left to die. This is particularly hard to stop, as a large amount of totoaba trafficking is done by cartels like Sinaloa, which are very powerful in this region. Overuse of water from, and damming of the Colorado River has restricted water flow into the Sea of Cortez, altering the habitat of both the totoaba and the food sources of the vaquita. Responding to this decline, the Mexican government created a no fishing area in hopes to save the species, until it was revoked in 2021 by the then president. The only hope for this species is if a captive breeding program is set up, or a safe area is created for them. Developing these may be hard, however, as previously when vaquitas were captured for conservation, they have died of stress in a matter of hours. Compared to other species, they also have a slow reproductive rate of just 1 calf per year, making it very unrealistic they will naturally increase in numbers. Okay, I probably wouldn't have included this species on the list until the recent news, which I'll mention shortly. The Javan rhino's origin can be traced back 4.3 million years, when rhinos moved south to India, and 400,000 years ago, migrated once again into the jungles of Southeast Asia. Here they would have encountered an environment of sparse wetlands and dense forest, whilst having the adaptations of a large grazing animal, and in response they grew much smaller and adapted for a life in the jungle. Before humans caused a huge reduction in their range, they were found from Bhutan and China in the north, throughout Indochina and into the Malay archipelago, and a very long time ago, along India's eastern coast to Sri Lanka, although this may have been an undescribed prehistoric species. The range of the Javan rhino has been shrinking for 3,000 years, where it contracted by half a kilometer each year until the 1800s, where it was just barely surviving in China. It is the largest animal in Java, and like Indian rhinos, they just have a single horn, which is the smallest horn in the rhino family. They are also the only rhino species where females don't even have horns. Javan rhinos do not often appear to use their horns for fighting, but instead to scrape mud in mud wallows, to pull down plants for eating, and to create pathways in the thick vegetation. Javan rhinos smell and hear well, but have very poor vision. They spend much of the day wallowing in mud, which allows them to keep cool and prevent disease. Salt licks are also very important because of the essential nutrients they provide, but with there being no salt licks in their remaining habitat, they have been seen drinking seawater. The decline of the Javan rhino is mainly due to its horn being traded in China for thousands of years, and historically its skin was used to make armor for Chinese soldiers. Horns from Asian rhinos are worth 3 times as much as their African counterparts, reaching up to $30,000 per kilogram on the black market. But they aren't just threatened by poaching. Loss of their habitat may have contributed towards their decline, but is no longer a threat as all remaining individuals live in a single national park. More specifically, they only live in Ujung Kulon, in Java, Indonesia. The peninsula was devastated by the eruption of Krakatoa in 1883, and whilst the rhinos shortly recolonized the peninsula, humans never returned in large numbers, creating a haven for wildlife. In 1976, only 25 Javan rhinos were believed to live there, with this estimate gradually increasing over the years to 76 in 2021. The species remains under constant threat of volcanoes, tsunamis, or disease, which could wipe out the species in a single blow. The species also kept a presence in Vietnam until relatively recently. By the 1970s, it was believed to be extinct in Vietnam through the heavy use of chemicals in the Vietnam War, killing both rhinos and destroying huge swaths of forest. The extinction of the species in Vietnam was however brought into question when a hunter killed a rhino in 1988, meaning that somehow it survived the war. Tracks of up to 15 rhinos were found and incorporated into Cat Tien National Park. After years of rampant poaching, however, surveys revealed that only one individual remained, who was shortly poached, leaving just the rhinos in Indonesia. Then just this year, poaching in Ujung Kulon was revealed. The gang responsible was found to have killed 7 rhinos, but they claimed to have poached 26, a shocking 34% of the remaining population. Despite how grim it is for the Javan rhinos, there is still time to save them from extinction. Studies have shown that a major setback to their continued survival is their low genetic diversity. This can lead to vulnerability to disease, and rhinos that are unable to produce offspring. Scientists suggest that some parts of the forest should be cut down to allow for more plant matter for the rhinos to graze on. This would allow for more rhinos to inhabit the park, reducing inbreeding, and therefore reducing the risk of low genetic diversity. Despite the low population, calves continue to be born, and some argue that a captive breeding program should be set up. The Indonesian government has considered this, but nothing has been done so far. Bringing them into captivity would also help us learn more about the least known rhino species. So there you have it, 3 species which might go extinct in the near future. If you are interested in everything animal and evolution related, check out one of my other videos. Thanks for watching.